Hi, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to use the AppleBot yet. This website is by personal invite only. If you have an access code, feel free to type it in below. But I still strongly encourage you to watch this short, 10-minute presentation. Maybe a friend brought you to this website, but I make it mandatory to listen to a few words of advice first before you might be allowed to profit heavily with Apple. Without an invitation key, there's no way to access this opportunity. This isn't one of those binary option scams you're probably used to seeing, so I give you the benefit of having a brain. However, if you can't even listen to some basic guidelines before making about 230% a month and possibly millions in 2015, yes, real millions, not stupid promises, real money backed up by indisputable proof, then as I said, if you can't listen for 10 minutes, please leave. My name is Gunnar Erickson. I made over $26 million from Apple stock in the last 5 years, and I'm going to show you how to do the same. That's right, you're going to earn at least $500,000 USD in 2015 with my help and expertise. And this is a low goal achievable by anyone following me. I'm setting it low on purpose because I'm known for under-promising and over-delivering, big time. And you won't have to pay a dime for this. I know what you're thinking now. Most likely, your cursor is moving toward the small X on the right corner of your browser, and you're probably thinking, what BS? Another Forex IM binary option scam. Maybe even another penny stock, pump and dump ripoff, and so on. But let me tell you, it's nothing like that, and it'll all make perfect sense to you in a few minutes. You'll understand why the Apple stock approach has worked for me for 5 years straight and exceptionally well in the last 3 years, and why it's bound to keep on working for possibly years to come. You'll learn how to use it for yourself to make at least $500,000 in 2015. Yes, this very year, starting from scratch, with no big investment sum needed. And most importantly, you'll understand without any doubt as to why I made this very page and how I profit from it. And here's the kicker. I'll tell you without charging you a single penny. Truly a win-win situation. First of all, why should you trust Apple? Apple is the world's most valuable company. I sensed it 5 years ago and invested heavily, but more on that later. Here are a few facts you probably didn't know about Apple. 1. The company is on pace for its 5th straight record close this year. 2. Since its IPO in December 1980, the market value of the company has risen over 50,000%. 3. From its first day close, the share price has risen 23,100%. 4. At the NASDAQ peak in March 2000, Microsoft and Exxon, the second and third largest companies in the S&P 500, were 26 and 13 times larger than Apple, respectively. 5. Currently, Apple is now 1.86 times the size of Microsoft and 1.75 times the size of Exxon. 6. Apple first passed ExxonMobil, the largest company back in 2011, in market value on August 10, 2011, and has continuously been larger than ExxonMobil since August 1, 2013. 7. Apple is bigger than all of the following companies combined: Google, Samsung Electronics, HTC, BlackBerry Limited, Lenovo Group, Hewlett-Packard, Cirrus Logic, SanDisk, Sony, Broadcom, and Pandora Media. 8. Apple has bought back more than 10% of its stock since September 2012. The share count for Apple has dropped from 6,500 million shares to 5,800 million shares in that period. 9. The stock's average annual growth rate over the past 5 years is roughly 32%. If Apple's stock continues to grow at this pace, it'll become a $1 trillion company by early 2016. And fact number 10. Since Tim Cook became CEO on August 24, 2011, Apple's market value has risen 100%. Its share price has risen from over $53 to almost $120, up nearly $66, or 122%. Analysts and my insider source say Apple is going to be the first trillion-dollar company, considering the watch, Apple TV, cash, the iPhone in China, and rumors about other stuff, like cars. For example, Cantor Fitzgerald's Brian White related that the old price target, $160, was the market high. With his new price target of $180, he's betting that within 12 months, Apple's market capitalization, which is stock price times number of shares outstanding, will have passed $1 trillion. To put that number in perspective, the total value of the gold mined in all of history, according to the World Gold Council, is roughly $8.5 trillion. Part of what's notable about the company's size is just how far it's climbed. When the dot-com boom was at its height and Microsoft Corporation was the untouchable beast, the Redmond boys were 26 times as big as the geniuses from Cupertino, and today, Apple is 1.86 times as big as Microsoft. White and I both agree that Apple is firing on all cylinders. With the watch, Apple will enter its first new product category in 5 years, while media reports over the past several weeks have highlighted potential new areas of future innovation. Also, it's believed that Apple's iPhone portfolio and position in China have never been stronger. Finally, Apple has shown its commitment to returning cash to shareholders, and more is expected in April. The combination of these forces will drive the market to reward Apple's stock. So the Apple stock is going to grow, and I've capitalized on it already, earning over $26 million. Good for me, you say. But how can this benefit you? How can you know that the growing Apple stock will earn tons of money? You could actually buy Apple stock and make a little money by sticking with it long-term, maybe 10, 20, even 30%. But these are small, almost insignificant results. We, my friend, need to make money faster. In fact, 100 times faster. How, you say? The AppleStockBot is the answer. Now, I didn't make my money with the petty increases the stock makes. At that rate, and with pulling money in and out, and a start capital of barely $1,000, I had 980 USD to be exact after broker fees. Even with the thousands of percent and the occasional mishap, like buying too early, selling too low, I could never, ever attain this level of rewards. No, sir. I make insane money by buying and selling Apple stock every day, 5 days a week, with hundreds of transactions a day. Yes, hundreds. I capitalize heavily on the small movements and the Apple followers that punish and reward the stock, with news coming out on a daily and even hourly basis. The Apple cult worshippers are a huge family, and like sheep, they follow each other. What an ideal setup for an in-the-know stock trader like me, with an insider source in both the development center and their press release center. I automated it. Not by myself, of course, but I took what worked for me 2 years ago and accelerated it 100 times. That's right. Insider info, automatization, and leverage have been the keys to my success. In fact, the AppleStockRobot software is responsible for 90% of my wealth, and I made a fortune by investing in the Apple stock and trading its ups and downs myself. All this thanks to the news I received, the general uptrend of Apple, plus my second source that helps me weed out bogus news and detect the real news. However, about 24 million USD was made on automation in the last 3 years. That's right, 90% of my money. The AppleBot is no demo bot and no beta testing work in progress that I want you to experiment on. It's a proven moneymaker, and it has been for over 3 years now, with no end in sight. However, my super-fast growth days came to an abrupt halt. In fact, broker limitations have finally caught up to me. With tons of brokers, I have millions in dozens of accounts, and I reached the end, as I'm not allowed to put more money into any of the accounts I currently have. You see, brokers have a legally binding agreement to pay you when you win, especially since they're heavily regulated nowadays. If you start winning heavily, they don't like you so much and put all kinds of roadblocks in your way. My name is pretty famous now among them, and I am, in fact, very unwelcome. So what they do is impose balance limits. Some allow a trade limit of 1 million, while others restrict my balances to $20,000. Yes, $20,000. I am unable to grow anymore, and this, my lucky friend, is where you come into play. You see, the AppleBot I developed works, and it's worked for years. This is not a beta test conducted on your back where you serve as some sort of lab experiment. This is not a soon-to-end, quick and unproven marketing gag of some strange software that seems to stop working the very moment you want to use it. And this is not a Mother Teresa scam where I give you some free software promising you millions of dollars in exchange for nothing for me to capitalize upon. I'm not a karma guy. In fact, I'm pretty selfish. I want to grow richer. Do you really believe all those scams for free software were without some sort of reward? Do you think someone would offer $1 million making software for free just to have some bonus points in the afterlife? Come on, you're smarter than that. At least you grew weary, right? I'm sure you went through a learning curve, and I know you've grown suspicious. And this is a good thing. You see, I'm not here to bullshit you or talk any more nonsense. Unlike everyone else, I want you to make money. Heck, I need you to make money for the long term. I need you to win, otherwise my approach would suck. And here's how the AppleBot is going to make you wealthy and me, and that's the important thing, richer. To ease the learning curve, I opted for a no upfront fee model. That's right, you won't have to dish out a dime for this. What I'm doing is collecting 1% of your profits, and profits only, at the end of 30 days every month. That's right, I profit only if you win, and this is like peanuts to you. Also, this doesn't happen automatically. Brokers will never allow this, nor do they know of our agreement, so you're fully in charge if you want to pay me or not. You'll get an email notification like this. I only need a verified email where I can reach you and the choice to pay either by PayPal, Bitcoin, or credit card. My system calculates the sum you owe me and fires off an automated email every 30 days. You then have 5 days to pay. If you fail to fulfill your end of the bargain, the bot will turn itself off and blacklist your IP and email. I'm not allowing tire kickers nor dilly-dallers. If you make money, you must adhere to the rules. I have no time for excuses either. So if you don't have a PayPal account or fund Bitcoins or have a credit card or debit card, I cannot help you. Nor do I want to, because if I'm making you $1,000, $10,000, or later even $100,000 a month, and yes, this is the norm and not an exception, my family members and some of the first members are making these sums already, I'm not going to waste my valuable time for your excuses. If you make these sums of money and can't be bothered to pay me even 1% of these pure profits, again, not on your deposit, 1% of the profits and profits only, you're an instant no-go. And second chances? I don't have the time, so be prepared to be let go in the blink of an eye. After all, there are hundreds of people, heck, thousands even, who will gladly take your spot. Harsh words, I know, but I'm a say-it-how-it-is kind of guy, and I wanted to make sure you knew that. No sugarcoating here. Now, if you think we're a good fit for each other and you'd like to partner up with me, go ahead. The access code should be displayed now, right under this very video. Type it into the form along with your email address, the one where I can reach you to request 1% of my earnings, give a fake one and you'll not last more than 30 days, and access the AppleBot right away. However, before you do that, there's another pretty important thing I forgot to mention. Do you see this investment tracker on the right of the screen? The AppleBot has a limitation of funds, so in order to fly under the radar with the big stock and shareholders, I need to limit the total volume of trades. Of course, I'm not going to insult your intelligence like all those scammers and tricksters giving out limited amounts of licenses. Heck, what sense does that make? I want to make a boatload of cash, and it's only in my best interest that as many people as possible use the AppleBot. More money is more money, right? However, the AppleBot needs to be volume restricted. In fact, the limit is 50 million USD in deposits, not profits. That's right. I don't want the risk of my winning strategy to stop working by exposing it to too much money and letting its buy and sell strategies fade. So 50 million is the limit, and that's like a bug on the windshield of the Apple tank. Undetectable. Everyone can use the AppleBot, but the moment 50 million in deposits are reached, the deposit function will cease to function until enough withdrawals occur to allow deposits to resume. So if you want to be a nice guy, withdraw your profits often and let other people profit too. You'll see the sum bounce up and down. People are greedy, thank God, and will take out profits regularly. But I'm not clairvoyant. Who knows when or if the volume will fill up completely? Maybe in a few months. Maybe a few big investors will come and take it all up. Who knows the human mind? We'll see about that a little further down the road, and I might then restrict deposits and profits to 1 million USD or so. As I said, we'll see when that point is reached. The only sure thing is that if you make up excuses or delay, you will lose. But that's a life lesson, and not something you probably knew already. The early bird always catches the worm, and if you start making up excuses and never do the stuff you're supposed to do, you don't get paid. Life is that simple. You owe it to yourself to check this out. I believe that deep down, you already see that this is something entirely different than all those binary option scams and free offers where, strangely, no one ever wants something in return, other than helping you earn millions within hours. I'm not here to BS you. I want to make money on your back, but at the same time, I'm not a greedy bastard nor a scammer. I want you to pay me what is fair and square. I could charge 10% or even 90% for an offer like this, and who knows, maybe further down the road the fee will increase. But as it is right now, I'm happy with 1% of the profits on 50 million trading volume, because I know that the AppleBot makes occasionally about 230% a month on all deposits, and the best month so far was back in April 2014. 230% on 50 million equals 115 million in profits, which means 1.15 million for me. A pretty nice sum. Okay, that was a super hefty example. The bot usually makes between 30 and 120% profits a month. But on the other hand, I did not have a losing month ever, nor do I want to start with that now, since I only get 1% of your profits. If you lose, I get nothing. So we won't want to start with that, right? It's decision time. You either give this a spin now or you will regret your inaction later, and I can basically guarantee that. By now, your personal activation code is displayed right under this video. Use it to access the bot. But remember this. If you fail to fulfill your end of the bargain and don't pay what is due on your profits, by the end of 30 days, I will deactivate your account and never activate it again. You've been warned. Enough of the doom and gloom. Enjoy the profits, but keep an eye on the deposit tracker also. Yours truly, Gunnar Applebot Erickson.